Hello, welcome to Gutter Stars. Sorry, we're slightly later than announced because we've been solving the problem of Star Wars. We've solved it, and there is no more Star Wars problems to solve, so no one needs to ever discuss it again.
We're starting a new franchise called Star Peace, actually, and it's about farming space, and everyone gets along really well and isn't toxic to each other at all.
Yeah. In fact, when the person says this is how democracy dies to thunderous applause, everyone's really happy about that. Because they actually are like, oh wow, I'm so happy this is happening. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, people aren't allowed to use the Force. They're only allowed to politely ask you to do things.
You use the persuasion. Yeah. So we are in space, but we're not in Space Wars. We're in Spelljammer. And we're on the planet of Shipwrecker, and I'm trying to think who was here a couple of weeks ago. I think maybe all you guys were. What happened last time roughly? Does someone want to sum up for us?
We went hunting rabbits.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. We ambushed some goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Quite successfully.
Yep, ambush went very well.
Yeah. The interrogation afterwards, perhaps less so.
Well, I think the interrogation went well. It just told us information that we weren't very pleased to hear, which was there was hundreds of them or something in this camp, and we thus felt that a frontal assault would be a bad idea. But they mentioned what they refer to them as, these hobgoblins that were sort of leading them / dominating them.
They just called them Red Scrow, didn't they?
Yeah, Red Scrow, something like that.
Red Scrow. Oh.
I think you speculated there might be hobgoblins.
Yeah.
They'd also mentioned they'd taken some wet people prisoner and filled up this tunnel underneath. So we were kind of looking at that as a potential allies. If we could find these Tritons, we figured out.
Yeah. We're also maybe going to try and sneak in and have a look around the compound, because the Red Scrow, whoever they are, seem to live above ground while the goblins live below. We're thinking we might be able to cut the head off the snake or something. We could get over a wall.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know.
Given our conversation about Star Wars, I'm now just assuming I've been inspired by Canto Bite with that. Like, the people in charge live high above.
Yeah.
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 What a subversion of D&D tropes for the more dangerous monster to be at a higher
on the dungeon. Yeah.
Subverting expectations, are you?
Yeah. Although I suppose if it's above ground level, you might expect it stereotypically to get more dangerous thereof.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, like a vertical dungeon going up, you think should be probably more dangerous the higher it goes.
Yeah, it's just about, where you get to first, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah.
We are looking to sequence break.
Yeah.
Yeah, ideally.
I have a question, actually. If we're on a planet, are we in space?
Yes.
Yeah, everything is in space.
Okay.
I think.
But then that means you're always in space, and therefore it's not actually that interesting to be in space.
No, astronauts are lame. I don't know anyone likes that stuff. Like, I'm in space right now.
Yeah.
Or is space a relative term? Like, we're in alien space,
Yeah.
Space inside our home planet.
Yeah, no, indeed, you are right, though. You're not technically in space in the sense of non-atmospheric pocket areas. You are... Then again, you never are in Spelljammer. You're always in an atmospheric pocket if you're on a ship. So.
Yeah. My squirrel girlfriend broke up with me.
At this point, we're on a big old ride.
As always.
Yeah. But yes, you have with you Eoreth and 7 other wood elves. He's a 3rd level ranger. They are first level fighters, and you have a giant lynx. So you've got some allies, and you also have, I keep forgetting his name, Bruno. Is that his name?
Yes.
We don't talk about Bruno. You've got Bruno. His brother used to be a pirate, and so he knows his way a bit around the island, and he is come to help in return for a share. So yeah, you've tooled up. You've got quite a large party.
Yeah.
And yeah, today we have we don't actually have Zethra because Zethra has cholera or something. Not Malingra's. He doesn't actually have cholera, thankfully. He has some sort of gut parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've got Vil, the half-drow conjurer. We've got Wilsp, the gnome, rock gnome, thief/illusionist. Sam Hambat, the human ranger, and then we've got a priest of Freya. Are you a priest of Freya or of Freya?
I think I decided that Freya was more romantic. I'm trying to think if I should put this in the Google Doc. Yes, we have a cleric.
Yeah. Jamie's got a whole novel about this cleric and how romantic he is.
Yeah, he personally watered the sprig of holly that killed Balder.
Yeah.
Let me put on a word.
For more on that, read Balder Dead by Matthew Arnold. So yes, you came in as an extra character, and those are the PCs active at the moment. So yeah, what are you going to do? You're talking about wanting sequence break.
Did we try and poke our heads over the wall yet to have a look in the inside? We got a map drawn.
No, that's where we left it, I believe.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I thought
that. I think we're over on our time technically. I think anyway last time, haven't we?
Yes.
Because we were talking about what to do next.
So is people still happy we do that? Maybe like come up to the camp, try and sneak somebody up to the top of the wall or over it to have a look at how the inside's laid out and see if there's any.
I think the two things we talked about is scout the camp, and since we have a decent party, I mean we have some people who are sneaky, and then the second thing is try to contact the Tritons.
Yeah,
but that's a 2-day journey, I think, back to the port.
Yeah.
So people had taken some hits as well. I think Sam was hurting somewhat. Yeah, I've only got 3 out of 6 HP at the moment, so I'll probably want to.
I think it's technically only a day. It's technically only a day back to the port because if you look at your route, you came down to the Mirror Lake, and then you head down further southeast to the Elven camp, and then you headed back north to the place where that because you're like, hey, well, you didn't actually find the Elven camp. You randomly encountered the elves. Was the point, but that was near where the elves live. And then they're like, oh, the nearest goblins that we know about live up here.
Excuse me.
So yeah.
So
technically, yeah, you are closer. It's a mile per hex. Obviously, you're in forest here, and then you've got like, I'm trying to think. Is your town actually point A there possibly? Writers. Yeah, A is Writers, and B is the lighthouse. So, yeah, you are.
So it's not far back to the road, and then presumably a little bit further to the sea. Yeah.
So yeah, depends on because I think is that you had gathered from. I'm trying to think. I think just from the elves that there were Tritons on the planet was the point, and they lived out to sea and stuff. And so yeah, that was obviously the idea was you could contact them and try to break in that way.
Sorry, my PC crashed. Did anything happen to my character? That's not...
Yeah, they got a parasite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the new Elden Ring DLC. I think it has a boss that does damage to my hard drive with a power cooler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
that's Miyazaki.
That's Miyazaki's next step. Yeah, is to he starts doing stuff like this boss. You defeat the boss, but then a week later you get a letter insulting your mum in like weirdly personal terms.
But in Japanese.
In Japanese. So yeah, meta damage. Yeah, so yes, you can go back to Writers, you can sneak around here. What are you going to do?
Well, as the thief, I feel like I'm going to be expected to be the one to scout it. So I guess I could do that again.
Yeah,
you've got a ranger with you as well. You have a ranger with you. So Sam has moved silently.
I do, but I only have 3 hit points.
Sam looks at Wilsp and says, "You are sacrificable, young man."
I mean, my speed is half of yours, so if it does go tits up, I'm not going to run away.
Tell you what, I'm quite strong. I'll hold the rope tied around you, and I'll just boink you straight out of there if need be.
Yeah, like I imagine like you could perhaps get a bit closer than other people.
Yeah.
Wait,
I was going to ask how many hit points Jamie's character had, but he's just gone off again. Well, he's a gnome, isn't he?
For some reason. Oh, okay.
No, he's a gnome.
Good.
I've only got little
legs.
That
means if things go badly, we just have to outrun you.
Yeah. You know the saying, when you've annoyed loads of goblins, you don't have to be the fastest, you just have to be the second. You just have to be the second slowest.
You just have to be faster than the gnome.
Yeah. You just have to be willing to trip the gnome up so that he's caught by them. That's what they say. Yeah. I'm not sure, as in, yes, you do have a cleric with you. Obviously, James just had to go off again, but I don't know how many hit points he has. I'm not sure. Has he posted his character sheet? I don't know. I don't think so. He's just going to start pretending his character has like 18 in every stat, isn't he?
I think we got kind of bad at posting character sheets after we switched back to Spelljammer.
Spelljammer, yeah. Yeah. No, well, we can bully him about it and blame him and say he is the arch malefactor in this.
Or we could bully everyone except me, right? If you're looking at characters channel.
Yeah. But yeah, no, certainly you can have Sam and Wilsp can go ahead.
Yeah.
I need some dice, don't I, to roll for you. So let's get some dice.
Oh, yeah.
He says, crying. He's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, no. In case it makes a difference, I think we'd approach from like the east side rather than north or south. Try and avoid the actual entrance as much as possible.
Yeah, makes sense. And what is your move silently?
Move silently is at 55. 55.
Yep. Yep. This thing we discussed, because though Wilsp is, I think Wilsp is still first level, for instance, in both his, though I think you'll be hitting your thief level soon. I need to go and check. At the same time, you can get some good thief stats from low levels, because in second edition you can assign some of your points.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of things that actually go into it, because you've got bonuses from not wearing armor, bonuses from being a gnome,
right. And race. Well, you always had those. You always had dex, race, and armor. First edition has those too.
Yeah.
But
they definitely add up.
Yeah, and it means if you can get like plus 10% or something off that, and there's a difference. No armor is better than leather armor. Leather armor is the default, and you actually get a bonus to most things if you're wearing no armor, which obviously, you're multi-classing and not wearing armor. So.
Yeah.
You will climb up the eastern side, and then probably you'll occasionally hear the noise of, down below you, of animals or creatures. This is like it's like a 10-foot barricade. It's quite high and quite complex actually. It's been reasonably built probably over a long time. You can see some bits of it probably might stand in need of renewing eventually, sooner rather than later. But it's a pretty thorough structure that's obviously been put up over some time. And you climb up to the top of it. You won't need a climb surfaces check separately, to be honest, because it's quite easy to climb. But you will realise there are guards around. You'll hear them, but there's no reaction to you. You're very quiet as you go up. You find your footholds. You can see inside the compound now. You're 10 feet up and maybe 15 feet up. Especially once you count the fact you're standing roughly, kind of crouching on the top or something. It's only the barricade is only like a foot deep, so it's not. You probably can't stand and walk along it very, very comfortably. Suffice to say, it'd be a tightrope walk. But you're able to kind of crouch on the top, and you can see that there are a couple of large trees on this side of the compound, as well as kind of some smaller trees. But you can see that it spreads out a little bit, and that there are a half dozen trees or more in like big trees in the compound, as well as some more open space that you can see sometimes between them. You can see to the southwest. Your view will probably be blocked immediately if you go kind of the due eastern point. Your view will be blocked to the southwest towards the southern entrance, but you will see there's a bit more activity in that direction. It's a fairly large, wide open area, and there are people coming and going, or small figures coming and going in the half light. It's not terribly well lit here. It's probably too lit for your infravision to be effective, though. And similarly to the north, you can't see too much. You think there is a wooden building on the western side. So, it looks different. It's not like a tree. It is low and longish, longer than the trunks of the trees are on the western side of the compound. So yeah, that's what you see at a first glance. You can obviously ask any extra questions if you want.
How busy is like this building, this wooden structure?
It's beyond. There is a tree roughly central to the whole thing, and it is to the west of that. So it's beyond that. So it's somewhat blocked. That tree does seem like it has platforms on it. By the way, the big central tree that you now look at as you're trying to look towards the wooden building. You can't see necessarily any activity around the wooden building, but then your view is partially obscured.
Yeah, I guess it is on like the complete opposite side to me if it's on the east. Wait. Did I come from the east or the west?
East. There are no platforms that you can see, I think, in the other trees.
Right. Trees. It's like there's trees really close to me.
In fact, it looks like that. You can see there are two big trees on the eastern side. You are roughly between them. Looking west, I would say actually both the big central tree and one other tree roughly in the center seem to have platforms on them. And there is this wooden building half obscured by these trees off on the western side of the compound. There are then some other large trees kind of off to the west as well.
Right, sorry, Miyazaki sent me back into the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
Discord will also play with me, and they've decided that they can't send notification emails, so I'm trying to use my phone as backup.
Yeah, that's fine. Phones work. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
I'm wondering, like you said, there's these two trees on the edge near me. Would it be like feasible to climb one of those to get a better view? Perhaps see this wooden building better.
Yeah, you'd probably have to descend the barricade and cross like a small dead zone. Let's say to the nearer one. Of just having a look. Yeah, because yes, these are a couple hundred yards aside, so probably only like 30 or 30 feet or so, maybe call it 10 yards. So one move. It's not very far, but there is a small dead zone because the barricades, the trees, like though they are somewhat dense above in terms of the canopy, they are somewhat trimmed and kept. They look like there's some basic control toward the boundaries.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to risk that, but I guess we want more information, and we're not going to get it without someone risking something.
Well, you should. Jamie had left. You should have just risked his character. Oh, that was a question, Jamie. How many hit points does your Priest of Freya have?
I'm just currently trying to actually hunt down this person's stats.
Yeah. Sorry. I literally, while you're offline, said that you'd made all the stats up. I've got Strength 18. I've got Dex 18.
Yeah.
If needs, they might be in the rolling. You might have rolled. You probably rolled the stats on the Discord. You can at least get the stats that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So anyway, that's
confused.
Main mischeck the dice roll. So yes, Alex.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like having
to. Like this.
I don't like this.
All the pressure's on you.
Yeah. No, I feel comfortable taking the coward's route. Like this is good enough. There's a wooden building that the hobgoblins are probably staying in. Could maybe leave or completely exit, go round a bit, climb back up, and have another look, see if I can get a better view of the building. But that's kind of tempting fate. The more I do.
They're definitely in that wooden building because our prisoners told us that's where they are living.
Yeah,
so you'd probably remember that.
But we still want to know more. Like, do they have? Is it very busy? Is it mostly hobgoblins? Do the goblins avoid it, or are the goblins coming and going? Is it a command hub, or is it just where the hobgoblins rest?
Oh, how far away from the other structures is it?
That's a good question.
It is. Yeah, you can't see how far it is from the western boundary because obviously that's super good.
Yeah.
Its perspective is pretty difficult, but I mean it's probably, it at 30 yards or so from the two other big central trees. It looks like it is connected at least to the southern tree the kind of south central tree. The north central tree is also connected to the south central tree in some way by what look like rope bridges between kind of upper level. Basically, the upper level of this wooden building and the tree platforms look like they're connected by rope bridges. And yeah, those trees look like they're 30 yards or something away from the wooden building, maybe slightly more, maybe 40.
Okay, that seems like good enough intel. I'm just going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. You and Sam return to base, I guess. With what is your priest called, Jamie?
I'm still looking that up. Okay, I'm not really good on last.
Yeah.
I got.
It's called Miyazaki sent a virus to my computer that deleted all my files. Yeah. Anyway, yes. So you return to where Eoreth and the other elves and the Lynx are, and I guess also Bill and the unnamed love priest. And I think you concluded did you just execute the goblins? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam executed them.
Yep. So yes, you can pass the information on, obviously, Wilsp, and then people need to decide what to do about it.
We could try, scaling the walls, rushing these trees, and then, using these bridges as a way to attack. The question is, like, how organized are they? Like, would they be prepared for an outright attack on their, the inside of their base? I suppose if we want to test like how organized they are, we could just like attack one of the entrances and see how long it takes them to get reinforcements. That'll give us, some idea of how organized their defenses are.
Just have a guy standing in the back with a stopwatch.
Yeah. You all failed the drill.
Rating their performance.
We'll carry on the drill until we will.
Yeah.
You all failed the drill, but the dead people failed the most.
Yeah, which certainly applies to Alex and Bija's characters on the North side.
You don't have to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
Do we? I think that's a reasonable idea. I think we might want to still go and try and get the Tritons as well. I think even if we can surprise attack them and deal with them in waves or whatever, like 50 to 100 goblins, full order.
There are hundreds of goblins in the base. Also, scaling the wall is going to be tough. I will be mostly useless. I no longer have my spell, and my main contribution to fighting is a dog who cannot scale walls. Obviously.
Well, I mean, think we should do it right now. I'd like Sam rest up, and that's why I was suggesting maybe we go and speak to the Tritons first, rest up on the way back, then maybe probe the wall and attacking bridges.
Or we could probe the gates today, because if we're just wanting to see how long like their reinforcements,
and then it gives them time to drop back down from high alert as well if we get
and that'll presumably be mostly us, finding a good position and just shooting arrows into the darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we give that a go? Do we elves have any opinion? Or are the elves just content with, as long as we're not coming up with complete nonsense, they'll join?
Well, I mean, as in what's your plan? I guess they're obviously open to hearing your plan.
I think
you could try and shoot some flaming arrows in. I mean, that has the chance of doing some damage as well.
I mean, they have kind of like trimmed away the trees away from it, so if we set the fort on fire, it wouldn't burn everything down. But I think we kind of abandoned that plan when we realised they had slaves.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's likely that we'd successfully set the whole fort on fire with a single volley of flaming arrows, but I think it's more likely to get their attention than us firing arrows into the air and they're just landing in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean?
But do we have like materials for flaming arrows? Do we have, because you can't just like set an arrow on fire, you need cloth and oil and I think that's something we can buy. Like we've got some funds.
We'd have to go back first, though. So, do we want to still just try and probe the wall now first?
Yeah. Well, I think we should probe like the main entrances. Rather, because that we can still stay back. If it goes badly, we can just run away into the woods, and we'll get some idea of how prepared they are for attacks on their gates, the place they're defending, which should presumably tell us something about how well defended they are further inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically just going to walk forward and shoot into the... Do we want to go north side or south side? Because one of the sides was like a tunnel, like going underground, and the other side was just kind of...
like a passage through the branches, through the wood fort. Kind of welcome, Simon. Major Tom Thumb has arrived.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Alex is suggesting that, like Neo and Trinity in the Matrix, he's just going to walk towards the entrance firing guns, I think.
That sounds great. Can the rest of us watch?
No, the plan is effectively reconnaissance by force. Like we're gonna test their security measures.
Yeah.
See
probe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A probe normally requires 1 or 2 people, though, not full party.
Well, we've got a lot of people with us, and we know they've got a lot of people, so we might as well. Maybe not all the elves with us.
How many grenades do we have?
I don't believe we have any.
And does Thumb have any Greek fire left? This is what Simon is
I may have bought some more last time. I could have done. I'm trying to remember.
I mean, I think our plan is basically do this reconnaissance by force, and then
go back to town.
Because if we're going to do reconnaissance by force, presumably like the grenade through the window is like the good opening maneuver. I believe I have 2 Greek fire. I believe I bought more.
I don't believe they have any windows.
Okay, then that. Do they have doors?
They do have.
I mean, Well, it's not even like a door. They got a doorway.
The doorway's even better.
You know, the goblins living in like a copse.
Can we just run up to the doorway, chuck some Greek fire inside, and then run away?
We could do. I mean, I guess if we're just wanting to see like how long it takes them to react. Well, we wanted to test like their organization.
Yeah.
You know,
so a fire drill is quite a good.
Yeah, that's not a terrible one.
Yeah, no. Some starts to tell you about the time that he first Stratofortress and like coated an entire goblin forest in napalm.
It was righteous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smell
yeah,
of
the Geneva
victory.
Convention has not been translated into Goblin yet, so it doesn't apply.
They don't even know. Yeah, the Scro don't even know.
It's not actually been translated into Elven yet either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was
My
a
character actually
suggestion.
would love to come to this recon mission, but he says he's going away to find himself. So
Yeah. No, we did. Yeah, the suggestion in our high level Elemental Plane of Earth game last night was that the PCs should be the person to create that our world's version of the Hague International Criminal Court, which meant they could then set the rules for whether or not the stuff they'd done was a war crime.
yeah. I mean, isn't there meant to be something like that, like the Palace of Judgment in the Outlands? Or something? I don't really know Planescape lore that well, but.
Slobodan Milosevic didn't go to the Outlands. What are you talking about? Yeah, great. Okay, so yep, you've got Greek fire. You can napalm them if you like.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's do it. Yeah, Greek fire through the front door, and sit and then retreat and see how long it takes them to react.
Who's the Greek fire thrower?
So I assume it's going to be me. This is my job.
I think the rest of us should fan out a little bit, just so that if they do come out, we've got they can't surround us or whatever. Yeah.
And Thumb is an elf, isn't he? So he gets elf surprise bonus on his own.
Yes, he can
Okay.
attempt to walk semi-stealthily towards the door.
Yeah. Someone's not actually in roll 20 yet, but if someone wants to roll a d10.
Oh, yes, I should do that. That's the opposite.
Let's. Technically I should roll the d10. So I'll do that. It's my guys who are risking being surprised. And do they spot anyone sneaking up? They definitely do not spot anyone sneaking up. You enter inside, you remove all of their stuff, and then as you leave, you drop the Greek fire,
including their bridges.
Yeah. All the elderly goblins are now outside, having been carried by Thumb. Yeah. No. So yes, you creep up to the entrance. Your light elven feet. And now you can. You can throw your Greek fire.
Yep, I will wing one Greek fire through the doorway, and then hot-footed backwards. That is what I wish to do.
Yeah. Is the radius just 5 or something? What's the radius on Greek fire?
Give me a second, and I will open up the 2E manual and have a look. I think, or is it in the Planescape?
No. It's there's grenade-like weapons is in Player's Handbook.
It's in Player's Handbook.
I can't remember where, but it is.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Grenade-like missiles. Greek fire might not be.
Let's assume. I think you've previously had stats and stuff at some stuff. So I assume basically it's probably going to be wide enough for there to be flaming oil across the passageway, which is it's probably not 10 feet, but it's probably functionally 2 squares. It's not 5 feet, but it's a bit more than 5 feet wide. That's the thing. I don't actually have a. I don't think we have a drawing of it. If anyone wants to use Roll20 to... Oh, no, we do. Okay, yeah, here we go. Is that showing up? Is that on the right layer? Yeah.
Use the grenade-like missile table in the Dungeon Master's Guide.
The secrets of the
I don't have that. I don't have such a thing, so I could not possibly tell you.
The The Dungeon Master's Guide.
What's the Dungeon Master would think?
First of grenade, 62. Okay. 62. Lit oil has a 3-foot diameter, so 1.5-foot radius. Though that is not Greek fire, but as in that's probably the equivalent, isn't it? It's lit oil, so yeah.
Most grenades are effectively the same.
So yes, no. Well, that's fine. We can. That seems like a reasonable. Essentially, it's 1 square. It will cover 1 square. So, but throwing it to one side of it so that it hits the barricade and stuff as well, like that. You can see that this passage goes through. It is deeper here. The wood, the bracken and branches and stuff are deeper here than where it's only like a foot or 2 thick around the boundary, because they don't want like 8 foot thick kind of piles of wood. But at the front it's a bit heavier, so there is a bit of a passageway to defend, like a castle in that sense, like a gatehouse. But yeah, you'll see it explode and start to burn. Some of the wood is quite dry and some of it is more wet. There obviously will be some kind of continual maintenance of it, so not all of it completely engulfs. But there is, a audible smash, and there is now a small fire going on. And then you can depart. I'll assume you maintain surprise for that purpose, because they will not be paying attention to you immediately.
Super.
Yep. And then everyone else will be presumably 90 away initially because of Elven surprise. I guess the elves can be closer, technically. Like all of the doofuses who can't sneak will be further back, but the elves can all be nearby. But yeah, so people can then move to watch what happens. That is fine. So this is at the front. Let's try. Let's have a look. I need to make more PC tokens, don't I? Let's go. I'll just get the party token up there.
Those bridges, were they sort of within the camp? Could we maybe label them as well?
Yeah.
The sort of ingress we were talking about before.
Freehand, I want it in green for trees. Just tell me if it's playing properly, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. Alex scouted over, Wilsp scouted over that eastern side. There. In terms of other big trees, there's another big tree there. There's another big tree there. That is roughly the kind of... These are quite thick, kind of big old oaks, spreading quite wide, and hornbeams and stuff, spreading quite wide. So yes. If that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah.
Cool. I can't remember my character's name, so yeah, my character's going to be a woman named Morthilla, and I can see from the previous rolls what her 6 stats were. She has 6 hit points.
Nice. By the way, this is going to happen every time Jamie plays this character. He's going to make up a brand new... He's a guy called Bjord, and...
Yeah, she's a he now, and
yeah, it's just I don't remember. I don't pay attention to the game.
Yeah. That's the only reason for it. It's just pure forgetfulness is causing these characters everything to change.
Yeah.
I've done a journey of self-discovery lately, so it's my new character.
Yeah, I've really discovered my statistics by looking in misc rolls.
Yeah,
he says.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
I remember I did have runes memorized, like a footman's mace. I'll sort out buying equipment and stuff.
Yeah. What spells do you have? If you're not a specialist priest, you're just a first level cleric, aren't you? So.
Yeah, so Cure Light Wounds is what I'll have.
Cure Light Wounds, yeah. And what's your whiz? Because you may have bonuses.
I won't have any bonuses. It's just what? Sorry, Wisdom. 14.
Wisdom, yeah.
Yeah, 14.
You'll have plus. Yeah, you'll have bonus spells.
Oh, no, okay, nice. Yeah. Let me double check.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, 14. You'll have 3 first level spells. Plus Horizon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Invest in your wisdom.
Yeah, I remember I didn't check.
Yeah. She has high wisdom, but very low intelligence. So yes, what you'll see is within a few moments you'll hear shouting in, I don't think, does Thumb speak Scro, doesn't he? Possibly, actually.
Give me a second and I will tell you the answer to the question. He speaks... I don't know if he does, actually. No, he just speaks Common and Elf.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a character. It might be might be Jones, might be someone else.
Should have been Zethra.
Zethra, yeah.
No, because didn't we have someone talking Scro to the goblin?
Oh, Scro.
Oh yeah, does Sam?
I speak Scro. It's me.
Vil literally refuses to say this for ages. Everyone's like, "Who speaks Scro? Can anyone interpret? Anyone?" And he's just sitting there being like, "No, I refuse to tell you."
I was doing some crochet, waiting for everyone to.
More like Scrochet.
Yeah, not my character.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably Vil catch some words. I mean, you're not going to catch loads, but just catch some words as they're kind of shouting that there's something going on here. There's a fire, and within a few minutes, you'll see a number of goblins coming out to try. Initially, you can see some are coming with like leaves and stuff. Like it looks like they're trying to douse the stuff with wet or damper greenery, and it spreads a little bit. Obviously, there's not an enormous. That one thing is that though it's stuff's on fire, it's not a massive fire, so it's not spreading rapidly. But it will spread a couple more squares equivalent of this entranceway before you'll spot a few things. One, that some are coming with buckets of water, and 2, that you can see some taller figures in the half dark, taller than the goblins, who also seem to be speaking goblinoid languages. The goblins themselves aren't speaking Scro. They obviously speak, I think, as we established last time, like they speak, some Scro. You'll hear occasional phrases in Scro, but then, you'll hear more fluent Scro, or it seems to your ear, Vil, that you hear more fluent Scro coming from the taller figures. But yeah, you're not close enough to be able to pick out every word. Just instructions about sorting out the fire. And they sound annoyed.
No, who's done this?
Yeah.
What now?
Vandals these days.
So just to clarify about priest spells, in 2nd edition, is it that you get these bonus spells as the number that you can memorize, and then or number that you can learn, or number that you can memorize?
I think you have access to priest.
Yeah, as your priest, you don't. As your priest, you always have access to your whole list. But you'll start with 1 at first level, as you normally would, 1 first. But then you add, if you have Wisdom 13, you get 2. If you have Wisdom 14, you get 3 instead.
Cool. Is that 3 overall, or as a bonus?
So, 3 overall at first. So you get 2 bonuses.
Okay.
And then you'll get 2nd level bonuses. So when you get access to 2nd level spells, i.e. at 3rd level, you then, you won't, but if you have Wiz 15 or 16, you start getting 2nd level bonus spells. And that's every day, and it just means you have more casting.
Okay. So at higher level spells, do I also always have access to the entire list?
Yes, per your spheres, which look under Cleric, specifically under the Cleric class, for that. obviously, if you're a specialist priest, i.e., e.g. a druid, or e.g. a specialist priest of Freya, then you would have different sphere access.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. So we're not doing that like first edition thing where you have to like personally pray to your god at 20th level to ask if he'll resurrect your friend.
So to get access in Spelljammer, to get access above second level spells, maybe your gods need to be present and active in terms of there needs to be worship of them in the sphere you're in. There's still the thing about like different, because obviously the logic is that first and second level, even in first edition, you always can have access to those spells, and possibly even if you're not in good odor with your god. Above that, you start either having to receive your spells via like essentially pseudo-angelic assistance, and then eventually your god. But you can, generally speaking, as a point of practice, I don't know, I've never met a DM for first or second who doesn't let you at least say, these are the spells I'm going to ask for. I'm trying to remember who I read who was like, I sometimes give them a different spell if I think their god thinks something else is going to happen. Like, I will give them a spell that their god would give them instead, but that's the only case. I'm afraid I forget who that is.
I suppose the idea is in AD&D, right, that up to a certain level before you're having to commune with the angels, you're just getting them automatically, right? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I suppose at high levels, the idea is more about like you having to stick to following your god so that you'll get the right spells you want.
For what it's worth, for the audience out there, the specialist priesthood of Freya requires a woman of minimum charisma 15, any chaotic alignment, only weapon use is daggers, and they've got limited spheres, but they have, in terms of powers granted at 3rd level, they can polymorph self into a horse, and at 6th level, they get predict the future at 10% per level accuracy, which is crazily good, and then at 9th level, they can create a filter of love. It's not a very good specialist priesthood, I'll be honest.
So you have to have
very weird.
Really like charisma to enter into it, and as a reward, you get to turn yourself into a horse.
Basically, essentially, you need to be hot, and then you don't really get very many much magical or weapon access.
Yeah, it's very on brand for Norse myth actually for only really hot people to be able to turn into horses. So
well, that's Loki, isn't it? Loki does it at one point.
She's not quite charismatic enough to be.
No, she Freya uses her normal clerics to like have good powers and do useful stuff, and then gives this insane predict the future ability to like the really elite members of the priesthood.
And by elite, that means hot.
Yeah, no, that is literally how it works. Just to be clear, in the priesthood of Freya, that is how it works.
It's like something from Mean Girls. Like they're like the clique of hot girls at school that look down on everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like, oh my god, she doesn't even have a chariot that's driven by cats.
Yeah. Can she turn into a horse? I don't know.
They come into school as horses to like flex.
Isn't an insult here.
Yeah, like Pony Club is not people who have a pony at the stables, it's people who can turn into a pony.
Horse girls.
Yeah. It gives a new meaning to the word, so yes, exactly. So yes, great Morthilla, the normal boring cleric of Freya.
Yeah. She's like charismatic, but because it's 14, it's like just slightly below the hot peak level. That's where they'll let her in.
Yeah, she needs to go and get some kind of bonus from a book or something.
Yeah, she does that thing they do in high school dramas where like she takes off her glasses.
And then she's allowed to join the specialist priesthood. Yeah. Specialist priesthoods obviously have some controversy, but were in fact a Gary Gygax invention. Go and read your World of Greyhawk.
That's interesting, actually. Because originally, from what I've heard in his Greyhawk campaign, he didn't like the first clerics he was running with characters didn't really have a particular god, did they?
No,
and then when they did start having one, it was originally kind of a bit vague, and then I suppose later made it a lot.
Yeah. So yes, great. That's what you'll see, and they will get the fire doused. I don't think thinking about it, I just don't think it's ever going to but it took them several minutes to kind of come and do stuff and sort it. I think you'll then see probably that the large figures remain on the spot. A couple of these taller figures remain on the spot for a little while longer.
There wasn't like alarm bells. There wasn't like a sudden rushing of people or anything like that.
There was calling fairly quickly of the nearest goblins, of the nearest small guys.
Yeah.
And they started to gather fairly quickly to verbal calling. And then it took them a while to go and get water. Like initially, they were just trying to put like wet vegetation on it.
As this was happening, my character was praying to get 2 Cure Light Wounds or 1 Bless memorized.
Nice.
Just doesn't it?
Yeah, nice. Bless is a very good spell. They're both very good spells, but yeah, Bless. Command is a very good spell. As Simon can tell you, you can command Minotaurs when you're like a second level priest.
Yeah, that's pretty helpful. Not dying.
Yeah.
So, have we learned what we want to here? Shall we head back to Izzy?
What did we actually learn from chucking this grenade into the goblins?
Just that they don't have like a sort of...
Yeah, they're not like completely disorganized, but they're not very organized.
Yeah, there wasn't like a sudden hue and cry or something like that. They didn't like immediately marshal or sound the alarm, but they were alert enough to quickly start calling and do so. Yeah.
But it's feasible we could use this as like a distraction tactic. You know, set one of the entrances on fire, climb over the wall.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think we should go and speak to the Tritons and see if we can muster up any. Because I do think
definitely
the more the better.
Because if the Triton, if we can find the Tritons and they know like where this tunnel is, then having a sneak entrance would be possibly, but probably better than just a random fire distraction.
Yeah.
And also we could just buy it like more Greek fire. I should check how much gold we have to work with actually. We have we got a fair bit of gold actually.
Yeah, I've started with 140 gold. It's in the text chat thing.
Yeah, that's yours. I'm not putting that in the fire.
Yeah. Just see how much that left there.
Cool. Okay. So you're travelling back now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Need to roll. Yeah, I mean, it's only going to take you. Just switch. It's going to take you probably less than a day. I need to have a look at the map exactly. I think this is the one.
Oh my god, there are rules for man catchers in this game.
That is not the name of the specialist priesthood of Freya, to be clear.
No, that's the specialist priesthood of Ishtar.
Okay, I've got to get one now.
One man catch.
I don't have Babylonian mythology. I've got Egyptian mythology, and Greek mythology in here, but I can't give you a specialist priesthood of Ishtar, I'm afraid.
I'd be very surprised if there wasn't one.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somebody's got to, but the Sumerian got somewhere.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Legends and Lore 2nd edition. Can say we can look at Aphrodite because you are talking about roughly the same god, aren't you? Aphrodite, charisma 16+, non-evil, bow and arrow, net, staff, any armor. Quite limited spell spheres. Gets charm person opposite sex only at 5th level. Charisma increases to 18 at 10th level, and can arouse feelings of love in any intelligent being at 15th level. Also kind of goofy. Yeah. Basically, goddesses of love. Specialist priesthoods not great.
Yeah,
Charm
that's one thing
person
with specialist priesthoods is they're kind of it's kind of like you end up with a bit of like a gimmick of like, oh yeah, I worship this particular god of like this particular concept, and I have this spell or something.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. That's like the principle of druids being specialist priesthoods in second, not in first. But the idea that you're like, oh, you gain something and you lose something, much like the well-designed kits tend to do the same thing. You gain this, but you lose this. But if it's just like you get some weird, goofy powers, limited spells, and you have really high charisma, it's a very straight, it's not all about mechanics, but it's less appealing. Sorry, Beach, I think you're going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say that a limited charm person at 5th level seems not really that good at all. At 5th level is pretty high.
Yeah, I suspect it may partly be legends and lore may not be very strong. There is the thing that there's not massive power curve stuff there, but there is some power curve stuff in the second edition supplements. Ignoring the player option stuff, ignore that stuff because that gets a lot more powerful. But there's a bit of it, because Alex and I have talked about this before, that Forgotten Realms versions of the same priesthoods often have like one more power than the previously published version. Because I think Alex was like, oh, these are versions, I'm going to say this. And it's not a massive thing, it really doesn't warp the balance that much, but you realise, they were trying to sell these new Realms god books, and they were like, look, they've got new powers, they're cooler. And I think Legends and Lore is fairly early. It's still credited to James M. Ward and Troy Denning, because he's obviously revised it to be more to have the second edition rules in. But yeah, I think a lot of these things are very limited and limiting. Like, you're a priestess who can't turn undead, and you have access to like 5 spheres and mediocre weapon access, but you get Charm Person at 5th level.
Yeah, I think that's same with the spellcasters. I kind of prefer to have more of a variety of what I can cast and get more spell slots by having less that I can do, because it's sort of at the extreme level it can turn into like casting the same spells loads of the time, and it can be a bit more like more power but less variety. I
think we discussed this in terms of, because Vil's a conjurer, and conjurers are a good specialist wizard. Wilsp is half illusionist, half Mexican, and his illusionism is again, it's a good class. They're both good, but illusionist is probably more flexible than conjurer at low level. Conjurer gets very good as you get levels, but I think this is the conclusion that is armor the only conjuration spell at first level.
I can't remember. It was certainly the one that stood out in the list.
It was like one of 2 or something, and I think that was part of the problem, wasn't it? Was that you're like, okay, this is not a big problem because the whole point is you're meant to level up, but you realise, like the limitation here is real. It's not like, oh well, you lose access to some spells, but you have loads of these spells. It's that you're like, no, you're casting armor. That is the spell you're casting.
You don't get any like real true conjuration, like summoning type spells, until like 3rd level, I think.
Yeah.
3rd level spells. But then, the idea that you can just like summon allies into the battlefield is pretty potent, I think.
Yeah. We did have a summoner on Sasset. She's summoning mudmen, who are actually like randomly, because you use random tables, but mudmen are hilarious.
How was download, Alex?
On the note of mudmen.
That's very muddy.
Yeah.
Did you go in? Did you become one with the mud?
Not completely, but I definitely needed a shower.
Alex has become part mudman. He's not fully mudman. He's part mudman after the experience. Great. Okay. So how many squares is it? It's someone did just measure it. I'll get these things. It says it's 2 squares. It's really 3 squares if you actually look at the way.
I'm just thinking first level conjuration spells. You might also have push and unseen servant if it carries over the additions like that.
I think unseen servant possibly did come up in that conversation. To be fair. So I think you're going to need 1 roll. So Alex, you roll a d6, please.
A d6.
Yep.
Wow. The 2.
You will return to writers. That's the first place you're going, obviously. So let's go to the writers map. There we go. You are, I guess, down. You'll be coming in the south there, or you could cross onto the other side, but the side to get towards your inn and stuff or your ship is on the western side of the river. So I imagine that is where you're going. Yeah. Find familiar. Grease. There's a conjuration. Mount is a conjuration spell.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that what you get from Freya?
Yeah. You get we're at third level. You're like, that your job now.
Guys, family stream. Don't demonetize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for getting me cancelled again on Twitter.
Completely misheard you there. I thought you said gave you cancer on Twitter.
Don't give me cancer.
About horses, guys. Oh no, it makes it worse.
No. Yeah. You're ruining it. Yeah, great. Okay, so yes, you're on the you're back in Writers. Where are you going? What's the plan?
What time of day is it?
While you're here. I mean, at this point, you camped nearby. You spent the morning, and it's going to be late afternoon, I guess. I don't think you can get into your into. Is it sundown? I think your place is like a dusk till dawn kind of place. But you've got a few hours of daylight, I think.
Where is it we need to look for these tritons?
In the sea.
In the sea.
In the water.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, we need to try to somehow contact them in their underwater settlement.
It's a very specific location of the ocean.
Yeah, we have to. Well, presumably we can ask sailors. They say they keep themselves, but somebody must know something about.
Is there an old house on a misty hilltop near the city of Arkham we can go to ask about this?
Perhaps the priesthood of
Njord.
Given their relation to the sea, they might know a thing or two.
I could do a topping up my rations if party funds will.
Yeah, we got plenty of funds.
This is a man fleeing debt on the Rock of Bra to spend all the money elsewhere.
I mean, we definitely are in debt. We're in a lot of debt. However, you got to spend money to make money. So
that is.
Party funds are in the negative, are they?
No. We have money. We just also have debt.
We're not in debt until we return to the Rock of Brawl. As long as we stay here, we're not in debt.
You mean that we have physical money, but our overall net worth is in the negatives?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
We're like a Silicon Valley entrepreneur.
Well, no, we've only been in debt for a few weeks. Not.
Yeah, you've not been running a company on illusory dividends for 20 years, Simon.
But our stock value is still sky high.
We need our party to dominate the market, and then we're going to start making profits. Trust me.
Yeah.
We can run at a loss until then.
It's fine. We'll just sell ourselves to a bigger company.
Well,
we'll sell ourselves around town to make money. What's confusing about
We'll sell ourselves under capitalism, as Karl Marx said.
Yeah, that famous Karl Marx quote. Okay. Can I have a D6 roll from who's next on my list? Beige, D6 as you walk through town to the Temple of Njord, then I guess. That's, or optimistically, yeah.
Also, my character is chaotic good because that is what love is like.
Aww.
True, accurate, scientific. Yep, great. You will arrive at the Temple of Njord, which is over on the upper western side of the map. There's not a map. There's not a numbered version for you there. You didn't know you arrived there. You previously met priest there, haven't you? Because you were there before you left. The priest is. Currently, as well as the, I think the priest is. Who's the? Just looking. The priest who I think is called Lusorm, possibly. Is that the? Or no, is it someone else? Is there? Jeremal, I think, is the priest. There's a couple of acolytes here, and yeah, I guess there is the big magic fountain in front of it, and you'll be welcomed back. Probably particularly the priest of Freya, who you were here like 2 days ago or 3 days ago or something.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah. You'll be welcomed back, and I suppose you'll ask about the Tritons. I mean, as in the they know about the Tritons on this planet. There's not massive tension over stuff because there's fishing here. It's not like they're not like for deep sea trawling and just like killing all the whales or something. It is just a kind of minor market along with the valuable wood that comes from here. And a few people come here just to farm and stuff. It's a kind of very wet, weird planet, so it's not the most exciting thing. But Tritons are fairly peaceable. They don't tend to be very aggressive. So, yeah. I think that they will have some idea of how to contact the Tritons. And I think that what their suggestion would be is that you hire a ship or something like that and sail out there. When the weather is fair, sail out to a particular point on the sea near a rocky island that kind of stands in its own, fairly wind and rain blasted. If you drop some amber or pearls into the water, if you drop a bag of small, it doesn't need to be very much, but just as a sign of goodwill, then the Tritons may come and speak to you.
Do they accept crisps rather than precious jewellery?
Are we allowed to litter? Are we allowed to trash up the ocean with Walker's crisp packets?
We accept those like plastic things that used to go around 6 packs of
dolphins. Yeah.
Will we get like a do they do extra damage to Tritons? Like if you drop one there, the Triton gets trapped in it.
Yeah. It's like an entangle spell, but for the sea.
Yeah.
It's the material component.
Why are we meeting Tritons, for those of us who were not paying attention?
Because when we were interrogating the goblins before, they told us we asked any other entrances, and they said there was the wet entrance below ground that they'd covered up, and then they mentioned that they had some Triton slaves. They didn't kill them.
The goblins have Triton slaves, and there's an underground entrance into their lair, and we are hoping the Tritons will help us into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Free the slaves that the goblins
Do we have any pearls?
I'm sure we can.
Physical.
I'm sure we can buy some.
Yeah, sure. Let me just look up Pearl in the player's handbook and see if my starting money will get me one.
We have party gold.
You've got to remember that we're a party, which is like we're like a government, so we can just, take on more debt.
Infinity debt, and it'll be definitely fine.
Yeah. At my university, just constant debt.
Technically, the debt doesn't even belong to this half of the party.
This is Alex's casuistic argument.
It's like the major and all the people who've trained to level 2.
Yeah, blame Andrew. I blame Andrew.
Yeah,
not here.
Because if one
I
half
blame Norm, who doesn't even play Spelljammer.
Half have the debt, and the other half says that the first half has the debt, then no one has the debt, right?
Yeah.
wait a second. If we slowly replace every party member with someone new, if this is the party of Theseus, do we
the debt of Theseus
clear our debt? By the time we get back to Rock and Roll, we have no original
all
members.
Debt is probably owned by the Arcane, and the Arcane know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's a good question of who actually holds the debt. Is it individuals or is it the party?
What's the Arcane?
What is the concept of the party, really?
Yeah, I think really actually it's a bit like the gold shares thing. Is that I'm generally happy just to, if people don't say otherwise, I assume all costs that are like party level in terms of like major training and stuff, and all debts are shared. As you know, I will sometimes have it that, like, I think it's that if new players join a game, I would assume they're not in debt, so they can take a loan to their first trading level if they don't have the cash. But I will assume that it's all shared unless the party decides otherwise. And the same with XP shares and stuff. Hence why if you're like, I am level capped, I'm XP capped, please do not give me a treasure share. That is the sensible thing to do. That's technically what Stike did that, for instance, in the previous adventure.
Going with you to the ocean because she needs a loan shark.
Yep, bomb.
Got him. Is there anything you
Buying
guys
pearls, hiring ships? Can we not use our Spelljammer boat? Is it too rickety?
We probably could.
No, it's not rickety. It is also boat shaped. It will. I believe it will sail.
Amphibious vessel.
There's oh god, what's our pilot's name? Jackson. Does Jackson think it'll sail?
Yeah.
Oh,
it can land on water. It cannot land on land because it's not like, as in it is a boat. It has a keel.
All right. Well, let's buy some pearls, sleep in the inn, and then sail out to find some tritons.
Yep, that sounds like a plan.
Let's go triton hunting. What?
Is there any other generic adventuring gear you guys think we should?
We could probably use a harpoon gun.
With triton bait on it.
I mean, there's the slight risk of underwater combat.
I think if we lace our harpoon with microplastics, it'll do +1 damage per shot.
Yeah.
Do we have any potions to breathe underwater or anything like that?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Okay, so if you fall in, you're done.
We'll drown.
Don't drown.
Yeah, the water will kill us first.
How many ropes do we have as a party? Because I have one.
Yeah, we should be explicit about
I have silk rope, apparently. I have silk rope.
Oh, it doesn't weigh very much. That's the advantage of that.
I have no rope.
No rope.
Would you like some rope?
Yeah, it'll put me into light encumbrance, but I guess that's alright.
Yeah, I think light's fine anyway.
You can still climb if you're light encumbered, I think. As in, you can still use climbing, I think.
Yeah. Alright, I'll take a hemp
rope. That's what you want to check, is your thief skills versus that stuff.
Well, it's pretty heavy, actually, a hemp rope. What the hell? 50 feet? 20 pounds? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, silk's less than half the weight. I've got 50 feet of silk rope if anyone wants to use it.
I'll take a hemp rope.
Take some hemp.
Also would.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, for Sam it doesn't matter less. Light encumbrance just cuts your speed. As moderate encumbrance starts to mess around with your combat abilities. And we're moderate encumbrance in that sense. But it sucks for that reason. The speed side of it is almost not as serious because you're like, you're at half speed. That's fine.
And we're already
combat
moving slow because there's a gnome in the path.
Yeah, I was going to say the humans and elves being at half speed for that purpose doesn't matter at all, unless they're trying to go off on their own to do something. But for combat, you don't really want to be at like -1 or whatever.
Yeah, we could actually buy a war canoe for only 50 gold pieces to play as handbook, guys. So, having played Sid Meier's Pirates, I can vouch for the supremacy of the war canoe.
Yeah. I do actually. Do you know what? I do have a setting I've never tested, hence why it's not been published for anywhere. But a kind of fairly detailed first edition, second edition setting, called the Sea Grottos of the Fallen Phaearchy, where the town you start at is like a mock Polynesian like outpost where all their people live ages away via outrigger, but they have come to kind of a European continent or something on the edge. So you can have war canoes in that. You could get on like outrigger boats. Do stuff there.
I think I remember that from one of your videos, right? It was the
I used it as a design tool in one video. So like, I'm just going to design one of these areas. Which is actually out at sea, largely underwater. So Alex won't want to play it.
It's not the sea or the water that's the issue. It's just the things there
in the water.
Yeah. As long as we stay out of the water, it'll be fine.
Yeah. What's the Jaws quote about that? Oh, like there's a Jaws quote about the water. Water breathing. Let's have a check because obviously there's the anything shop, which will occasionally have random stuff in it, and there is like a local wizard as well. Let's see.
Okay, cool. I'm also bringing a fishing net along with us.
Yeah.
That's 10 for spell.
Is this? I don't know what the wizard's name is, because you did have someone go and see. Vil went and saw him, didn't they? I don't remember. What's happened? Oh, maybe it's. Okay, so let's go and have a look here.
We have an outstanding quest with this guy, actually.
Yes, he was like, "I want you to go and steal back my property."
That he wants us to go break into someone else's place and steal shit from him.
Yeah.
Which he swears belongs to him. Totally believe him.
Yeah. He seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, just commit this crime for me as a favor.
His name is Gripe. Yeah, I mean, I think Gripe will have, will be able to give you potions of water breathing. We'll be able to sell you, but I mean, they cost like 900 for one with several doses. So yeah, pearls are like 100 each. So it depends. Yeah, what money you're spending to make money.
How about amber? Any amber available? That's probably a bit cheaper, right? Get a nice big bag of amber for the price of a single pearl.
Some amber, like a large amount of that, not like a pearl. So for larger quantity, same value, 100 gold. So yeah, you could get rather than like a single pearl, you could spend the same to get a bunch of amber. Under fancy to precious stones.
I feel like, that's probably the right call. Like, just a bag of amber rather than spending the same amount on like 2 pearls.
I think that makes more sense. In any case, we just want them to speak to us, right? We're sort of, nominally asking for their help so we can help them.
Yeah.
So I think provided that
we're asking for their help because we think they'll be interested in helping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
It's a gesture,
win them
isn't
over.
it?
Yeah. So I guess 100 gold's worth of amber in a
Yep, that's fine.
in a burlap sack.
Yeah. A 4 copper sack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I guess Tom. Yeah. Do you want to roll a D6 because if you're doing shopping, you'll need to also spend some time in the market. So you roll a D6 for that, and then I guess you're going to be sleeping. Time to die. Let's. What I think is it D10? Yeah, please roll a 10.
Look at what you've done.
Sorry.
Yeah. In the market near one of the, because I think there's a pub on the marketplace. There's a loud, drunken guy who's kind of calling to you. He's like, you're adventurers. Adventurers.
Why,
I hear adventurers love to have a drink.
Adventurers love it when others pay for their drinks.
Yeah. It just like come on, you should get around in and I'll tell you some. I'll tell you some secrets.
If you get the first one, I'll get the third.
He's like, no, I have the secrets. Adventurers love secrets. Come and buy me a drink.
Oh, we've got so many secrets.
He's just a single guy. Like, even if it's a worthless secret, how much can a drink cost?
It's the principle.
Okay, we'll buy him a drink from his personal gold, whatever he has left. Yeah, I've got enough to buy him a drink.
It's one of those tricks where you're like, how could it be bad? And then it's like a 10 gold beer because the bar's in on it.
Yeah, it'll be worse than that. It'll be a secret that takes 3 hours to explain. Like the whole thing.
And then we come outside and someone stolen the shoes off of our horses.
No, and it counts as like a noisemaker, so like you have to roll extra encounters every round while he tells you this boring story.
I love that idea of someone taking the time to steal your horseshoes over the course of like a 1 hour drinking session.
But not your horses. Not your horses.
No, that's a terrible crime. But horseshoes? You know, you can get away with that.
Yeah. They don't hang horseshoe thieves, do they?
Yeah.
Horse thievery, that's bad.
Yeah.
Horseshoe will no longer be a symbol of good luck.
So you
I'm also going to buy him a drink. We're going to sit either side of him and like put our hands over his shoulders, like really, really overbearingly.
Really aggressively.
Will tries to put his hand on his shoulder, but only reaches his elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, now, son, you better tell me what this secret is.
Yeah. Can I buy him a half gallon of ale using the player
He said he's whilst he's drinking this Belgian beer, he scammed you out. He's like, you know, there are rats beneath the city.
What city? This one?
He gestures around and says rats.
Is that a
metaphor? A whole civilization of rats beneath the city. They're plotting and scheming.
Really a city, is it?
What are they scheming?
He says, I didn't read the novels, okay?
Are they in the walls?
Yeah, the rats in the walls. Yeah. The Empire will tell you, he says, that they're not real. But yeah. No, he says, no, they've been saying there's like ratty people near the docks. And then he looks at Wilsp and he says, I don't know if they're talking about you, but I'm sure they weren't. You're a handsome fellow, slightly short and hairy.
Thank you.
But there's the thing that the guard. I mean, I'm not making up this plot about Skaven threatening the Empire. It's that the guard, the city, the guard. They've got it. They've got a notice. That's why I saw it.
What Empire?
I can know the scrolls game.
Yeah.
Does this guy fall through a portal from Warhammer? Is that what's happened?
Yeah, he got lost in the enemy within and fell into.
Yeah.
Does he look at the camera and wink?
Yeah, he jims the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so yeah, he says no. It's the city guard. There's a bounty.
What is the bounty?
He's like, it's like 20 gold each.
Per rat.
Like they're like man rats, rat mans.
That's like 4 times the bounty on goblins.
Yeah, bigger than goblins.
Look,
bigger than goblins.
Here.
Yeah, and they're plotting against the Empire. They're far more dangerous than goblins.
What Empire? You can't just keep saying Empire.
Wait, what's the bounty?
He's
rats.
20 gold per rat man.
That's really useful information.
Shit, hold on.
We'll bear that in mind.
Okay, so we're actually playing Planescape. Okay, yeah.
If you perhaps he's seen the chatter and he's also a bit mad.
What do you mean the chatter?
The chatter, the fairy guys who found on the dwarf rock.
They were not furries. We need to be very clear about this.
They were furry
Get out
guys.
ahead of these rumors.
They were little guys with fur on their bodies.
Yeah, that's better.
But yeah, they were kind of rat-like.
Little lemur men.
Yeah.
You've got two of them on. You've got like a breeding pair on your ship that hang out with Jackson apparently.
I don't think you could be defensive about they're not fairies and then use the phrase breeding pair.
Look, I mean, I admit they're only semi-intelligent subhumans, but come on.
Yeah, I was reading a Clark Ashton Smith story recently where he's talking about lascivious impuci with a certain area of them furry like a bat, and I realised like this guy invented furries in the 1930s, really ahead of his time.
It seemed too much. His dark visions of the future.
My eyes, the eldritch madness has taken over.
Yeah. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he says, the city guard is like, you can go and... He says, if you don't believe me, you can go and, But he says, look, if you buy me another drink, I'll go and get the notice from the city guard barracks.
I'll buy him a water, but give like a wink to the bartender, see if he put it in like a shot glass.
I wink at the camera. Yeah. No, yeah, he'll drink it and kind of look disappointed, then run off to go and get you this notice.
It has a subtle flavour to it, I say.
Yeah.
Maybe your palate isn't
He's
fine.
going anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy actually works there. Like, these are the people who are defending this town from the Scrow.
Cool. He'll bring you back a notice that says that the rat men have been seen, particularly around the docks, and have been linked to, there's been simultaneously a rise in crime in the area. So, without racially profiling, they say, we want you to kill or capture these rat men. 20 gold per head.
We got to catch them actually doing something that's like worthy of killing them for, though, right?
Yeah.
Well,
up to you.
Listen, we didn't kill the chatter, right? If we don't kill the rat men, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Disappointed?
So I think,
I thought you were talking about let's keep this harmonious streak of non-violence going.
No, we don't get paid for harmony.
We want violence. This is Star Peace. We've already discussed this. Jamie, do you want to roll the encounter for getting back to your inn? Because then I guess tomorrow you're sailing with Jackson.
Question: is there anywhere we can buy a cat? Is it a D10?
A D6. Mm-hmm. Can you buy a cat? I'm not sure. I don't feel like there's probably many cats in this kind of western frontier town.
Yeah.
Why not?
Ben Milton.
Surely we need someone to catch the rats.
Well, they're paying us.
No, that's you. You're catching the rats. Yeah. Exactly, Tom.
But like the normal rats, though.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so next morning you're sailing. I take it. You will.
Do we need more rations before we go?
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's the point. You could have already bought those because you've already been to the market.
Yeah, I needed another 6 rations.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many was it we started off with?
7 is 3. So 7 is 7 for free. You get 7 at character creation. Alex probably takes 3 gold off the party rations, and then Sam takes 7 rations because that's easier than breaking it down.
Aye.
That's fine.
We should buy some lobster cages or something. Leave them out on the coast.
Yeah.
How much do lobsters sell for at the market here? Is that even worth it?
Well, they sell for something.
Yeah,
do not sell for anything.
Yeah.
You need people with kind of trap making abilities. Salted herring per 100 are worth 1 gold. Lobsters are worth more than that. Obviously, a barrel of pickled fish is 3 gold.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, like, if we wanted to sell them as, like, a high-value exotic treat, we need some way to either contain them while they're alive or, like, use magic to freeze them or something like that. Because, of course, like, archaically, lobsters were something that people would typically eat rotten, wouldn't they? And wasn't very sophisticated. Whereas now...
We'll have to invent the lobster thermidor.
But I think kept them rotten.
Well, apparently, people would actually kill the lobsters and then eat them quite a while afterwards. After it's gotten quite nasty, because I mean, I'm not an expert on preparing lobsters, but like they used to commonly feed them.
They were
put rules in place telling them like they couldn't feed too much lobster to the criminals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think most of the time it was like.
I mean, I think it was also that they'd basically take like a whole lobster and blend it down and then feed you that.
Yeah, along with that, right? Like you have to cook a lobster like immediately after killing it, don't you, in order to do it safely? Whereas they didn't do that previously in the past, and as soon as you do start doing that, it becomes more expensive to keep them and serve them, doesn't it?
What you guys want to get into in terms of household provisioning of the PHB is you want to get into like harvesting and selling saffron, which is 15 gold per pound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that's like a fun loot item to like find in the kitchen dungeon somewhere, isn't it? Actually, like saffron. Oh, just a spice.
Cool. Simon, do you want to roll a d6 for your sea journey?
Yeah, sure. He says, I'm trying to work out where the dice have gone on the screen. Bam.
On PC, it's over on the left.
I believe it is. Oh, it says rolling the dice. 2. There we go. It took a while.
Yeah. No, yeah, you will sail out, and you have. I was going to say you wouldn't need to pay for anything last night because you'd paid for everyone's provisions, hadn't you? Like Jackson and Xixchil are staying there in the inn, so you had actually paid for everything. But yeah, so you will then go out on the boat and spend a few hours sailing. Remember, it's not a particularly big planet. It's got like one major continent functioning plus a few small islands, and it's very small across. I think it's like something like the actual diameter is something very, very small. But yeah, it's like a planet in a video game where you can run around the whole thing in like 20 minutes of gameplay, like Mass Effect. So you will, you'll arrive at the island that you're signposted to. You're told, it's because there's not very much blocking the horizon. The horizon is quite short. You come over it and you see stuff. As soon as you kind of spot it, it's easy to head towards this place. Be able to navigate your way there, and I guess you drop over your burlap sack with a kind of fistful of amber in it.
Yeah.
At this point,
with as much grace and dignity as you can for
like looking like some sort of beautiful sea creature yourself.
Yeah.
One tiny piece of amber, just in case. Yeah.
Yeah. And who has your highest charisma?
I think it might be me. I'm at 14. I think that might be equal, actually, isn't it?
Morthilla is 14.
Yeah.
Does Thumb have better than that? Does Thumb have better charisma than that?
No, I have 14.
You've got lots of people with decent charisma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is +2.
We're definitely at +2.
Yeah. We can guarantee we're at +2.
Yeah. Yeah, I look to my companions and tell them they're slightly above average in appearance.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, stop it."
You're not quite attractive enough to like turn into a horse at 3rd level.
Yeah, maybe a pony.
Yeah. But yes, so yeah, you will see. It is almost certainly raining. I say that I need to check exactly what day it is. I think it's not quite day 60. It's raining, as it has been the whole time you've been here virtually. There's been a bit of by the way, presumably Ereth and the elves will have headed back to their village and will tell you to come and get them. I should have said that before. They won't come to the town with you. They'll be like, come and get us when you want us.
Yeah.
And we will come and help. But yes, so yeah, you will. A while later, you will see kind of the water is pretty murky due to that, but you will feel the star sail slightly buff it, and then some way away you'll see a figure rise from the water, look like a man swimming in the water with long hair. His hair is kind of like he's like 90 yards away or something, or 70 yards. so you're not quite sure, but the colour just reflects oddly off the dim light. And he has a trident which he gestures towards and shakes it. Not kind of directly aggressively, but just there's a certain warding gesture there. You feel.
Wilsp will wave.
Yeah. I'll see if I can get a. Yeah. He just watches shaking his trident at you.
Good morning.
Yeah. What language are you speaking, or do you speak?
I'll speak. I'll try Elf first.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't respond much, I'll switch to Common.
He will respond to the Elvish in a dialect of Elvish that I guess you speak kind of Imperial Elven Navyish, as you speak High Elf, basically, don't you?
Yeah.
You are a High Elf. And yeah, he'll respond in a strange dialect. It's Elven, or it's Elvish. It seems like it is, at least, but it definitely kind of, there's words it's not just an accent thing though. It is somewhat different, maybe. He'll come closer and be calling out, and I suppose be saying, why are you here? Why are you bothering this place?
We come in peace. We want to free merfolk. These are merfolk, aren't they?
It's Triton, don't call them
Triton.
We want to free merfolk because we care about merfolk. Tritons, on the other hand.
Some fishy dudes are imprisoned by goblins, and we want to work for their emancipation.
We were saying Morpho, but in a northern accent.
Yeah. There we go. We'll put him there. You over here. There we go. Yeah, you should see. So there you can see. He'll look curiously at you, and yeah, proper Imperial Elvish indeed. Beach. Yeah, he will swim closer and say, like, what do you mean? He'll basically like Tritons captured by goblins or threatened by goblins or whatever it is. What do you mean?
You guys have to explain because I wasn't here.
That's what someone says. Yeah.
I've done my bit. I'll sit down.
You will see, by the way, the reason his arms are free from swimming, you'll just see, is that what looks like a horse's head comes out of the water at one point.
Campus.
It looks like a finned horse. The head has a kind of the mane of the fin. Alex, the player, jumps into the water and begs for a hippocampus.
Well, it's a sea animal it's a mythological animal that's named like a brain.
Yeah. Okay.
And also they're quite cool. Yeah. It's like it's a seahorse.
Yes.
Seahorses are a different thing.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yeah.
I'll drop it. I'll drop it into the campus with them.
I guess the important bit to tell him that we've been fighting these goblins. We captured one and interrogated, and it told us about this underground watery passage in their base, and that they'd captured some prisoners through that route before blocking off the tunnel, and we believed them to be Tritons, and wondered if anyone had gone missing and if they could help. I think that's the gist. Wilsp can't actually say. So.
Wilsp says all this in English, basically. And
not even common, he says it in English.
Stares at Thumb until Thumb translates. He'll look at you curiously, and his demeanour slightly changes. He looks very cautious, but he does say that a couple of their, they've had a couple of youth who'd been exploring a lot and going farther afield, and then a time ago, their own mage, like the mage of their people, the wizard of their people, had gone with them, basically, because this older mage was a very curious exploratory type, and then they disappeared, like some months ago. So,
I mean, that sounds like our quarry.
Yeah.
Probably worth telling them that we know that the goblins number, in dozens, and more than we can hope to fight straight on, which is why we seek allies.
Yeah. Certainly. Yes, I mean, you'd describe, I guess, there's a couple of hundred larger goblins, basically, plus a number of many hundred smaller goblins, I guess. But yes, I think he'll say that, yeah, you'd need to come and speak to his people, to the high priest, who is the kind of lord of their people. Triton, yeah. To their kind of not to their priest, to their king, their king Triton of the Triton. But yes, that that does sound like it might be it. And as there are elves amongst you, he's inclined to trust you. He's inclined to think that you might be, that he hasn't seen a high elf, or his people haven't met high elves for many centuries, but he knows that they fly in the great ocean beyond. So it says that he can provide, if you want to come down under the sea, he can provide, or he can go and get a potion of water breathing from his home.
That would be most helpful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or how many potions does he need actually? Let's work this out, because let's see how many they have, and therefore how many they can use for you.
They got exactly enough for everybody except Jackson.
Sorry,
mate. Got to stay on the ship again.
No. Yep. They'll have maximum size ones, which is 4 doses each. And what's the longevity on that? Because per dose, how much does each person need? 1 hour per dose plus a variable number of rounds. Yeah, well, he says they live below the island, so he'll say that obviously swimming wise, unless people are proficient in swimming, they'll need to be unencumbered to swim.
I leave my massive rope behind me.
Yeah.
Basically,
Sam immediately drops it. Yeah.
Leave our backpack ship.
Yeah. So as long as you're unencumbered, you can swim slowly, and it'll be fine to get within that place, And there are have you left Bruno back at town, I guess, as well? So that means there's 5 of you plus Jackson?
So.
Or is Bruno with you?
I assume we've left Bruno, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. As in, obviously he will,
give him the day
off. And he's enjoyed Kings and Goblins. He'll wait for you at the town. Then he'll go back to being a bouncer at the Grey Cat whilst he's waiting for you and some lucrative business. But that's fine. In that case, I guess probably only need 2 potions. Okay, good. Beej was asking. Beej just had to go to do bedtimes. We'll finish in a moment, but dogs. I mean, dogs can swim, don't they? So I guess you could bring the dog with you.
Can dogs dive?
Yeah, can they dive? I feel like I've seen dogs dive.
I think
so. They can. They're not super good at it.
Yeah.
Can do it.
Yeah. Tom's like, I often force dogs to dive.
I've seen dogs dive.
Yeah. When they're fleeing from me. Yeah. No, okay. I mean, that'd be 6 portions. So that'd be, you need like 3 potions, wouldn't you? they're 4 doses each, and the 6 of you. That's fine. Okay, in that case, he will spend some time and come back up with 3 potions. So there's 18 doses, and he'll just give those to you. He'll say, for as you're coming, you can keep the remaining doses, and we can obviously give you more. We can top you up to get you back up. But then he'll take you down once you've disencumbered yourself, and you'll swim through the murky water. He will probably suggest that you rope yourself together. So if you have like a silken rope, he'll suggest that you rope yourself together, and you'll swim very slowly underwater. Because I assume no one has swimming, or does Thumb have swimming, or?
But I take swim. No, I don't take useful skills. No.
I mean,
No.
Is swim a useful game in Spelljammer?
Yeah.
No, I've got 0G combat. Would 0G help me in swimming?
Probably, it literally would. As in, I'd probably allow, as in if you're making a check, if you had to make a non-proficient check, I might give you like related weapons groups. I'd probably give you like a heart, reduce your penalty. That is actually pertinent, because you're not confused by the issue of orientation. You're not used to water, though.
Yes.
But yes, so no, you'll.
It's a big difference. Water.
Yeah, those noticeably different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is different. Yeah, the texture.
Very wet.
Yeah. It's but what's worse than water is sand, because it gets everywhere. That's what I hate. And so you'll swim down, and underneath the island, you'll be swim into a large cavern which is lit by bioluminescent mushrooms and lichen. And you can see that there are you're not sure exactly how this has come to be, but there are vast coral structures inside here, with where there are holes and stuff. You can see they're kind of like a half dozen large coral structures, and you can see these humanoids with finned feet and and hands and stuff. And you can also see hippocampi going around as well. They have a variety of hippocampi with them, and you will probably you'll emerge, and you'll be welcomed up onto a stone beach which is above the waterline, in a cave, and the Triton will say again in this kind of Elvish dialect. He'll point to the other end of the stone beach and say, "Watch out for the sea lions! Don't make them angry." And then he will go and this way we'll leave it, but he'll go and collect his leaders to come and negotiate with you about what you want to do.
Cool.
So it looks really cool underwater. Now you're just wet in a really cold cavern, and there's sea lions at the other end of the beach. There we are. I should actually should I see if I've got. I should change the music once we were sailing. I forgot to. Sorry. Okay, let's get a. Is there a suitably? What's a wet?
Just get the RuneScape sea shanty.
I think there's it. Okay, can be our. Let's check that this is good dungeon ambience for next time. Put bubbling pools on, which sounds suitably wet.
Oh no!
How do you find them tracks that aren't copyrighted? Is there
Roll20 just has a library of them. So yeah, there we go. That's suitably wet. Yeah, good, cool. That'll do us for next time then.
Right.
Yeah, great. So next time you'll be among the Tritons, working out some kind of alliance, and then trying to maybe go and break into the Goblin lair. If that sounds good for you, that's what we'll do next time.
Yes, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I will end the stream there. Thanks